Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm back. It's Monday, February the 10th, and it's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, I know you're probably wondering where I was yesterday and why I didn't leave a note. Well, actually, yesterday actually Saturday night it began. I started throwing up things I hadn't even eaten yet. So, yeah, it was bad. And that's what happens when you have a compromised immune system. You know, you shake hands with somebody that had the flu 10 years ago and you've got it. That's how it is. That's why I want to stay well away from the people that are in my tiny little town that have the coronavirus. Well, we don't know if they do, but they actually brought the plane load of people here of all places. So, yeah, and I hear that they went back to get another plane load and bring them back. So these are the Canadians that have been stuck in Wuhan. So anyway, yeah, I'm staying well away from that side of town. All right. What we're going to be doing tonight is I've got two videos. Well, actually, I've got three prepared, but I'm doubtful that I'll get through it because I still feel like, well, I don't even want to tell you what I feel like. But anyway, so we're going to look at the Q post. We're going to get up to date with the Q post. Then we are going to get an update on the coronavirus. And if time and if my voice is all right and I've got energy, then we will do a third video. But I'm doubting we'll make it that far. But, who knows? Miracles can happen. So let's look at the Q stuff. And we've got posts from today and yesterday. And we missed a couple on the 8th as well. So we're going to go over everything, not the stuff that we did in the last Q update, but from there on, we are going to do, and we are going to get completely caught up this evening with that, because I think that's the most important thing this evening. Second most important, I think, is the coronavirus, and third, would be news updates. So we'll do it in that order. All right, and I do have people to thank, but I'm going to thank them in the next video, and it's been several days since I did thank anyone, so I've got quite a few to thank, and which is awesome. Anyway, let's take a look at the first one. It's 3844, and it says QAnon searching for the truth. All right, well, he's given us a link here to go to, and he has signed it Q, so let's take a look at what he's wanting us to look at. And I realize it's not a he, she, they, them. I say he because it's easier, but the truth is it's a group of people. So I know every once in a while somebody sends me a message and says, are you that stupid that you think that Q is a guy? And it takes me back because I only say that because it's easier to say than they or the group or whatever. I just say Q, he, meaning he, she, they, them, whoever. All right, now let's take a listen for this. It is by High Fives, and it says searching for the truth. Aren't we all? All right.
QAnon. But what is it?
It's called QAnon, a fringe conspiracy theory that some political analysts have likened to an online religion.
Based on anonymous postings on an internet message board.
More people don't trust the mainstream information coming in more than ever. And it's gotten to the point, it's snowballing.
The theory started less than a year after President Trump was elected, but as we've learned in our reporting, this is actually becoming a political movement, not just online.
Are you holding a big red, white, and blue Q? Why do you have that?
It's a movement, man. It's the shit. I can feel it coming. Some call it the Great Awakening.
You're wearing a shirt that says Q, WWG, 1WGA. What does that mean?
It means where we go one, we go all. QAnon is the people that believe in what Trump's trying to do to change our country.
But for many supporters,
Where we go one, we go all.
Q is simply a means to the truth.
Morgan, this seems like it's kind of spreading in ways that you wouldn't expect.
Oh, it's spreading.
It's spreading and it's growing, Mika.
But they are part of a group online
Where there's an army, they're called Anons, QAnon, that They're anonymous, but they're all on the same track, looking for the truth, digging, making YouTube channels. Boom, there's all these YouTube, and they're all popping up. They're becoming the new news, the real news.
It is alleged that reports and stories were planted in the media, other reports were altered or pulled on the instruction of the CIA, and that many newspapers and TV stations had CIA agents embedded within them.
This would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country.
And that's something that Nazi Germany would have done and did do. I think it's a disgrace. That information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public.
Now that's awesome. That was awesome. And yeah, notice how this one, wasn't so, it was a little bit more positive in terms of who Q was and what the movement was, and less, they're white nationalists, they're, they're the Ku Klux Klan, they're, whatever. So yeah, this is, I'm actually kind of encouraged watching that. I hope you were. And let's go back now. And that was simply all that Q had to say, but yet there's a lot in that. So let's move on now. And the next drop is 3845. This is from February 8th. These are, obviously, these were, Q dropped these after I had made the video on February 8th. But that's all right. We're getting to them now. And New Jersey corrections officer charged with receipt of child pornography. A New Jersey corrections officer. Now, interestingly enough, first let's go out to the link. All right, now, this says, New Jersey corrections officer charged with receipt of child pornography, Newark, New Jersey. A corrections officer with the New Jersey Department of Corrections was arrested and charged today with receiving images of child sexual abuse. Acting U.S. Attorney William E. Fitzpatrick announced. Stephen Salamak, 37, of Lodi, New Jersey, is it Lodi or Lodi, New Jersey, was arrested at his home by special agents of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, Homeland Security Investigation, HSI, and charged by complaint with one count of receiving child pornography. Salamak made his initial appearance before the U.S. Magistrate Judge Joseph A. Dixon. He was released on $125,000 unsecured bond with home confinement and electronic location monitoring. According to documents filed in this case and statements made in court, Salamak used email to seek and obtain images of child sexual abuse, including images of prepubescent children. The charge of receiving child pornography carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years in prison, a maximum potential penalty of 20 years in prison, and a $250,000 fine. Acting U.S. Attorney Fitzpatrick credited special agents of ICE and HSI under the direction of acting special agent in charge, Deborah Parker, and the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office under the direction of Prosecutor Gerber S. Graywall. With the investigation leading to today's charge and arrest, the government is represented by Assistant U.S. Attorney Daniel Alfonso Walsman of the U.S. Attorney's Office Criminal Division in Newark. The charge and allegations contained in the complaint are merely accusations, and the defendant is presumed innocent unless proven guilty, unlike Trump, who was guilty until proven innocent. So anyway, I guess I'm just kind of wondering why out of all of them that Q is leading us to this. But let's go back to here, and let me see if I can enlarge this, because it says 10, during and after search of the residence and after being advised of his Miranda rights. Okay, this must have been in there somewhere, not in the part we read, but it must be part of it. It says during and after the search of the residence residence, and after being advised of his Miranda rights, defendant Salamak admitted to law enforcement officers, among other things, in substance and in part, that 1, he placed the Craigslist advertisement referenced in paragraph 2 above that cheese pizza was a reference to child pornography, and that cheese pizza was a reference to child pornography. 2, he engaged in the communication with the UC referenced in paragraph 3 above. 3, and he knowingly received emails containing child pornography. And 4, he has knowingly communicated with various individuals online regarding child pornography and pedophilia. Now I understand why Q is leading us to this, because isn't that interesting that he is a pedophile? I would assume he is, well, yes, I would assume that he is if he likes looking at prepubescent children. Who does that? Well, apparently he does. And the other thing that's important here is that he's saying that cheese pizza is a reference to child pornography, which we've known all along because of who? Because of Q. So interesting, very, very interesting. And I'd love to know where he's pulling that from, though. Hang on here, because it's driving me a little bit batty. Because I don't see, but maybe, I don't know. Where do you click on here to get that? I don't know. But anyway, Q obviously knew, so there we go. That's very interesting, though, to tell you the truth, that he would admit that cheese pizza is a reference to child pornography. Because the only place we've heard that really is from Q, and then we started seeing it referenced everywhere. So it's very interesting. All right, now let's go to the next one, and it is drop 3846. 3846. Secretary Pompeo knows which U.S. governors have sold out to China. Now, if you haven't heard this, you're going to love it. No, really, you are going to love it. Yes, I can guarantee it. I don't know if I lose that guarantee, what I can give you, but an extra video. All right, let's look at this. I love it so much that I love it. All right, that made no sense, but you know, I can blame it on being sick. Communist China has a list, and Secretary Pompeo has seen it. Busted. Holy crap, did your state take dirty commie money? Well, let's go back here.
Last year I received an invitation to an event that promised to be, quote, an occasion for exclusive deal-making. It said, quote, the opportunities for mutually beneficial economic development between China and our individual states are tremendous, end of quote. Deal-making sounds like it might have come from President Trump, but the invitation was actually from a former governor. I was being invited to the U.S.-China Governors Collaboration Summit. It was an event co-hosted by the National Governors Association and something called the Chinese People's Association for Friendship and Foreign Countries. Sounds pretty harmless. What the invitation did not say is that the group I just mentioned is the public face of the Chinese Communist Party's official foreign influence agency, the United Front Work Department. Now, I was lucky. I was familiar with that organization from my time as the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, but it got me thinking, how many of you made the link between that group and Chinese Communist Party officials? What if you made a new friend while you were at that event? What if your new friend asked you for introductions to other politically connected and powerful people? What if your new friend offered to invest big money in your state, perhaps in your pension, in industries sensitive to our national security? These aren't hypotheticals. These scenarios are all too true, and they impact American foreign policy significantly. Indeed, last year, a Chinese government-backed think tank in Beijing produced a report that assessed all 50 of America's governors on their attitudes towards China. They labeled each of you friendly, hardline, or ambiguous. I'll let you decide where you think you belong. Someone in China already has. Many of you, indeed, in that report are referenced by name. So here's the lesson. The lesson is that competition with China is not just a federal issue. It's why I wanted to be here today, Governor.
So, how many do you think at that government or governor's dinner, how many of you think that probably quite a few of them had a big mess in their pants to go and clean up? Seriously, because he's saying that communists have listed all the governors. They know who is friendly, who is apathetic, who is not so friendly. They know. And they know, and he knows who has taken money. So I am betting that they are having kittens or cows or something. Maybe even larger barn animals like beefalo. We've got those up here. Yeah, it's a cross between a buffalo and beef. They're big and beefy and buffalo-y. They're huge. Anyway, yes, I bet they're having beefalos. And yes, it does taste like beef. All right. Well, this, I don't know. This kind of makes me laugh. And it's just, I love it when people are going along and they think that their little dirty deeds are all hidden. And, they're going along thinking, yeah, they're not going to get me. And then all of a sudden, Pompeo just drops a rock right there. You gotta love that. They're all going to be found out, all of them. And I think that they've got the goods on all of them. I really do. Every single one of them. Now, let me see here. It says, an informed public threatens those in power. Well, yeah, why does an informed public threaten those in power? Because if let's say they publish it tomorrow, and we see a list of all those governors that have taken money from China and sold us out. How do you think the public's going to react to that? Well, I can assure you they won't be happy. They would be very, very unhappy, to say the very least. So, yeah, it's coming. It's coming, really. It's coming really, really fast. All right, now let's go to the next one, 3847. Pompeo knew about China's United Workfront Department from his days leading the CIA. Q proof. Now, let's go and see. Q has linked to a tweet by Julian's Rum, his Twitter account here, and said confirmed. Now, this is, I've just clipped it out to save us a little bit of time, and it says, now I was lucky. I was familiar with that organization from my time as the director of the Central Intelligence Agency. That is a direct quote from Pompeo, and this is from a Q post. White House position, rapid changes. Why? Planned. Visibility in one helps another. Connected. CIA to Secretary of State, North Korea, Iran, Russia, China, MX. Why is this relevant? Well, we're seeing why it's relevant. And I put a little, this is by Lisa Mae Crowley. She said, kudos to Julian's Rum. Mike Pompeo was invited last year by a former governor to U.S. China Governs Collaboration Summit. As former CIA director, he knows which governors were listed as friendly. Yeah. And let's look at a couple other comments on this by Dio Presso Liber, SunQ2 on Twitter. Good find, Julian's Rum. This is why Pompeo was appointed as CIA director before he was appointed Secretary of State. Needed to know the big picture of the corruption taking place so he could further root it out as Secretary of State. And that is what he's doing. And this by Joe M., another fantastic person to follow on Twitter. A list of governors were selling our national security to China like candy, fully knowing it would hand them our sovereignty on a silver plate and annihilate our republic as we know it. Friendlies, as China calls them. A lot of urethral sphincters in that room just gave way. Oh, I bet they did. Pompeo was channeling his inner Ricky Gervais with the speech at the National Governors Association, where he unabashedly stuns the whole stinking lot of them with the truth of their treason. Every glass of champagne they drink from here on in will feel like hydrochloric acid. Well, we can only hope. All right, so let's move on now. And here we are at the next one, and it's drop 3848. Again, it's from the 8th of February. And Senator Lindsey Graham, half the people involved in the Russian investigation are going to jail. Now, this makes my heart very happy because I love seeing justice served. Real justice. I mean, when somebody is truly, truly guilty and they receive justice, that is a good thing. It's a good thing to witness. It just makes you feel good. I don't know. I'm somebody that loves to see justice, and I want justice to be served. I want those who have endangered our country, who spied on our country, whatever they've done, embezzled money, sold our secrets to the Chinese, to the Russians, whoever, they need to pay a price. And unless they do, I think that the American people are going to quickly lose hope in America. Because isn't that what America's supposed to stand for? Liberty and justice for all? Well, that's what we want to see. All right. So, Senator Lindsey Graham, and again, Q is leading us to a Twitter account, and he says the bottom half was instructed 99% good. The first will send a shockwave. Q. Well, what's he talking about here? And let's take a look at the Twitter page first. And here we go. Now, it says, listen, half the people involved in the Russian investigation are going to jail. Well, let's listen. All right.
Where as a Republican, you get investigated from the day you get sworn in. 3 years later, they're still coming after you. Here's what amazes me. The Russian investigation, what happened? Half the people behind the Russian investigation are going to go to jail, and Trump was cleared.
Hopefully.
Well, just hang tight. They come after Trump on Ukraine, and Biden blows up. So every time they throw a rock at Trump, they get hit. So here's what we should look at. Why did the State Department not act when they were told about the conflict of interest with Hunter Biden regarding the Ukraine, right?
Right.
Who is the whistleblower? Does he have contacts on Schiff's staff? Did Colonel Vindeman leak information to the whistleblower?
Right.
And as to the FISA warrant, how could you sign the warrant 4 times and not know the whole thing was off the rails? That's where I come in.
Okay, so you're going to do something, because even the head of the FISA court said it was wrong, it was not predicated on probable cause. You know the whole thing, so you're going to do something. You want to tell us what you're going to do?
Yeah, I'm going to give a list of witnesses to the Department of Justice that I want to call. It's going to be the case agent. I want to find out how this thing got so screwed up. Why didn't they tell about the Russian source who said, you know, the dossier is not reliable. How could it be possible that it never goes up to the top? I don't believe. I want to know what Obama knew about this investigation. Yeah, exactly. I want to call Rosenstein, Sally Yates, Comey and McCabe, and all the people who worked on this case to find out how it got so off the rails and make sure it never happens again. And I want to know who in the White House knew about this counterintelligence investigation against the Republican nominee.
You and I both.
So, now, if you weren't happy before you started watching, I bet you're happy now. Maybe you've heard this. Maybe you saw this on Fox. I don't know. But it's colossal news, and it's good news. So, and I think, as we go on, the news just gets better and better. So hang tight. Let's go back. Not there. I don't want to look at myself. All right. Now, let's look at this by Doc Rock 107, another great person to follow on Twitter. There are more good than bad. The first indictment, unseal, will trigger mass population awakening. Q. McCabe and wife get greater than 1 million from Clinton friend. 2. Next, Andy Strzok, Comey, draft Clinton exoneration letter before interviewing her. 3. After meeting with Andy McCabe, Strzok tells Paramore, Lisa, insurance policy is needed to get Trump out of White House. 4. Fake dossier. 5. FISA. 6. Release the FISA warrant. So it says the bottom half were instructed, 99% good. So yeah, he's saying, you know what, there's more good than there is bad, and they are actively trying to root out the bad. And you'll notice today that a bunch of holdovers, what was it, 70? I would have to go back and look, but a bunch of holdovers from Obama's administration were let go today. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, what took him so long? Why today? Why, or was it yesterday? See, I think it was today. Anyway, I know you're thinking, what took him so long? Well, you're going to find out what took them so long. All right, now let's go on to the next, and it's drop 3849, and it says simply justice. And that's all it says, justice. Q. Isn't that what we all want? I think so. If you don't, you're in the wrong place. Get over there on, I don't know, what music videos or something. You're in the wrong place. I just say that nicely. I mean, you're welcome here if you want to stay. Make yourself at home. Have a hot beverage. But if you're not wanting justice, you're probably in the wrong place. Just saying. All right, let's go on to the next one, and it is drop 3850. This is from today, February the 10th. Hunters become the hunted and are falling into traps. Yes, well, isn't trapping a part of hunting? At least it was in the beginning of this country. This country was opened up by the Hudson Bay Company, the oldest company in the world, and that's still running. And it was the North and everything were opened up because of the fur trade, and they trapped. I think it's horrendous, and I'm glad that fur is frowned upon now, because I think the fur is much prettier on the animals. But anyway, yeah, and so hunting and trapping, I mean, it's really kind of the same thing. And there's a little bit of both going on. So let's look at this by De Oppresso. Well, actually, let's read the rest of it. And we've got a Twitter, a link to a Twitter, and I clipped this out to save us time. And it says, Attorney General Barr has acknowledged for the first time that Rudy Giuliani has been giving the Justice Department information he collected in Ukraine, essentially bringing what was a stealth campaign into official government channels. Yeah, Giuliani, he found some good stuff, or he wouldn't be rubbing their noses in it. Giuliani giving Ukraine data to Justice Department, Barr says. Attorney General William Barr acknowledged for the first time Monday that President Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has been giving the Justice Department information about Ukraine. What kind of information? You know what kind of information. All right, so let's read the rest of this. Did Mueller open up the door to Ukraine? Did Mueller open the door to FISA, the illegal FISAs? Sure did. How do you introduce evidence legally? Just like that. Did impeachment provide a platform to discuss findings of Ukraine? Yes. How do you introduce evidence legally? Just like that. Did impeachment harm or help POTUS, his public persona? I think it helped. His polls are higher than they ever have been. He's still drawing crowds like crazy. I can only see that it helped him. How do you introduce the Democrats' high crimes, corruption to the public? Just like that. I think that they've told on themselves by this whole impeachment sham. Why didn't POTUS remove Hussein holdovers from the NSC? Well, he was giving them time to hang themselves. Do you really believe that POTUS and team trusted Hussein holdovers to remain within the administration and work to enact POTUS agenda without bias or confrontation? No, of course. POTUS is not stupid. He's not a stupid man. I don't even know how he survived this long, because there's been so many traps set for him. It's like playing hopscotch, trying to avoid the traps. And all while trying to run the country, which he's doing a wonderful job of. But how he's able to do it all and, hop and jump and skip and fly through the air to avoid their traps that they set, I don't know. And their assassination attempts, which are many. So, I don't believe that POTUS for a minute thought that these Obama holdovers would be faithful to him, to POTUS. Of course not. How do you awaken the induced coma public fake news control from their long sleep? Sometimes allowing your enemy to openly attack. Logical thinking. See, just like, have you noticed that, excuse me? Oh, excuse me. That was lovely. I probably sneezed right in there. You better go get some bacterial wipes for your ears, because you don't want to get what I had or have. All right. So, everybody's attacking. And what do people do when everybody piles onto somebody? A lot of times people stand back and go, wait a minute. What did he do that's that bad? And then they start getting into it. Well, let me hear what he did. And then they start hearing the other side and they go, well, something's not right here. So I think that, it had very much the opposite effect of what they were intending it to have. So let's come up here and look at this. Hunters have become the hunted. This by Dio Presso Liber, Sun Q2 on Twitter. Sorry, I was looking at my cat. They've been unholy terrors today. AG Barr acknowledged today that Rudy Giuliani has been given DOJ info he collected in Ukraine regarding Burisma, Biden, and coup. Q making point Mueller investigation opened the door to Ukraine, allowed all evidence regarding the coup and money laundering to come into evidence in legal proceedings. These people are dumb. They are. They fell into the trap, not Trump. They did. Mueller opened door to FISA abuse, brilliant strategy of POTUS to essentially allow the Dems man Mueller to backdoor evidence of treason into the impeachment trial when the entire world was watching. POTUS numbers have been bolstered while Dems numbers and are tanking, believably tanking. Sounds like some real spooky Sun 2 tactics to me. Impeachment trial showed that POTUS, innocent, Acme cat be gone. Didn't like that. I always feel so mean when I do that. Impeachment trial showed that POTUS, innocent of all crimes that Dems are projecting onto him, makes public ask why Dems so desperate and to try to convict him. What do Dems want to cover up? And what do the Dems want to cover up? Trump has known about the treason of Vindman brothers and CIA Ramilla, the Carmel guy. For a long time, he needed to let public become aware of desperate measures taken by the Dems to take him down. POTUS remains strong while the Dems get booted out. He allowed his enemies to openly attack him to show public their true colors. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Sun 2, and this is Sun Q2. Now, let's come down here. And I think we had another, no, we don't. So there you go. Yeah, none of this, if they had left POTUS alone, none of this would be coming out. Like, if they weren't so gung-ho on getting rid of him to cover their own crimes, well, then their crimes would never have been made public. Because they opened the door. Mueller opened the door. The impeachment opened the door to Ukraine. Mueller opened the door to the FISA abuse and all that. Pretty clever, to tell you the truth. And POTUS has survived all of it. It's amazing. Now, let's go to the next drop, and it is drop 3851. 3851. Bigger than Vindman, Trump scrubs 70, I was right, 70 Obama holdovers from NSC. Well, 70. Count them. 70. Oh, I would have loved to have been there. I really would have. I hope they lined them all up and took a picture. Of course they didn't. All right, now let's go to this link that Q has left for us. And all right, bigger than Vindman, Trump scrubs 70 Obama holdovers from the NSC. President Trump is making good on his promises to drain the swamp and cut Obama-era holdovers from his staffs, especially the critical and recently controversial National Security Council. Officials confirmed that Trump and National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien have cut 70 positions inherited from former President Barack Obama, who had fattened the staff to 200. Many were loners from other agencies and have been sent back. Others left government work. The NSC, which is President's personal staff, was rocked when a whistleblower leveled charges that led to Trump's impeachment. And here's Trump. Fake news, CNN and MSDNC keep talking about Lieutenant Colonel Vindman as though I should think only how wonderful he was. Actually, I don't know him, never spoke to him or met him, I don't believe, but he was very insubordinate, reported contents of my perfect calls incorrectly, and was given a horrendous report by his superior, the man he reported to, who publicly stated that Vindman had problems with judgment, adhering to the chain of command, and leaking information. In other words, ouch. That's what I would have did. I would have done. I don't know where that came from. Probably from my time down south. Anyway, that's what I would have done. And I would have, I hope that Trump said, "You're fired." You know, I used to love it to hear him say that. I don't know. I wouldn't want to hear it said to me, but, I'm just saying. Last week, one key official who testified against Trump at the House hearing on the Ukraine affair that led to impeachment was sent packing. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman was returned to the Pentagon. His twin brother, Lieutenant Colonel, I can't pronounce that name, Vindman, was also given the boot. Trump has expressed displeasure that Alexander Vindman had testified against him when the Ukraine specialist said he did not like the phone call conversation between the president and a newly elected president of Ukraine. Since entering the White House, Trump has relied on staff smaller than previous administrations and has noted how prior presidents had a much smaller NSC team. O'Brien recently said that the former President George W. Bush handled the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan with 100 NSC aides, a model he is instituting. This month we will complete the right sizing goal Ambassador O'Brien outlined in October, and in fact may exceed that target by drawing down even more positions. John Ulliott, the NSC's senior director for strategic communications, told Secrets columnist Kristen Soltis Anderson on the expanded Washington Examiner magazine. And I see my cat is chewing up something. But I'm just going to pretend I didn't see it and hope that it's a toy. All right, let's go back. Not there. I don't want to look at me. All right, here we go. So, yeah, so Q gives us that, then says, we got what we needed. There is no step 5. Thank you for playing. Q. So, POTUS, and this is by Dio Presso Liber, Sun Q2, POTUS has known about the treason of Vindman Brothers and, you know, the Carmel guy for a long time. He needed to let the public become aware of desperate measures taken by the Dems to take down POTUS. And there you go. So I think that, and he's saying, you know, we got what we needed. So they have everything that they need. Everything that they need. Now, they've got all the information. So that is good. All right. Now, here we are on the next drop, and it is, well, I cut the number off because I could. But I guess if this one is 3851, this is 3852. Well, we'll just, you know, I mean, that would make sense, right? Okay, so the D's are trapped. Good. All right, and so Q has included this from Anon, an anonymous, on the 10th of February, 2020. So this is the same day that Q posted this. And this by an Anon says, what advantages might exist when you know the other side's playbook? Well, actually, that sounds like that is an old Q post from 11/15/2019. 11/15/2019. And this Anon is quoting drop 3596 from, a year ago, more than a year ago now. And it says, what advantages might exist when you know the other's playbook? Enjoy the show. So, oh, actually, no. What am I talking about? That wasn't a year ago. That was November, December, January, February. It's only like 3 months ago. I'm just going to blame it on being sick, okay? All right, give me a break, man. I can't be perfect. I can't. I'm better now. All right. So I remember actually when Q posted that, and he put the dictionary definition for trap. Well, we all know what trap means, to trap somebody or to set a trap. And Q says, enjoy the show. And underneath, we've got a real good piece of news because Q responds and says, caught them all. He set the trap. He caught them all. Must have been a big trap. A really, really big trap. Yep. Caught them all. And I said it was, and this is me, I said it was designed as a rat trap and the Dems took the cheese. Yep, they took the cheese. All right, let's look at the next drop, and it is drop 3853, 3853. Q foreshadowed the White House cleaning and D's Democrats leadership being ridiculed in the street. And what do you think is happening now? They are being ridiculed like never before. Seriously. I mean, now I don't hear it up here because, I don't know, I guess our news is, I mean, it's even more far gone than your news. I mean, and I shouldn't say your because I consider myself American. I've lived there for I lived there for most of my adult life, and I hope to be returning there, and only came back because my mother is elderly and was not doing well. But yeah, the news up here, Canadian news, is way further gone than your news. We are further along in the trek toward the New World Order, mainly because of who our Prime Minister is. So let's look at this. Q foreshadowed the White House cleaning and Democrats' leadership being ridiculed in the street. All right, and this is Q is bringing up a post from April the 2nd, 2018, April the 2nd, 2018, that says, where we go one, we go all, drops will go fast, White House clean, signal, marker, everything is planned, years, message, unity, awakening, we fight, Lexington, Concord, stay together, Q. Then beneath this, Q, and again, this is on April 2nd, 2018, Q said, follow Bolton, clean, stage, learn how to archive online, or offline rather, the streets will not be safe for them, Q. Now, this is recent, Q is asking, what happened following Bolton's departure from the White House? White House clean? What happened following impeachment? Nadler, Pelosi, Schiff cannot walk down the street. Imagine that. Q. Now, this kind of speaks for itself, if you ask me, because up here, he's reiterating the message, and he says, where we go one, we go all, drops will go fast, White House clear, signal. It's a marker. Everything is planned. It's planned out years in advance. The message of the whole movement is unity, awakening, and we fight. Lexington, Concord, stay together, Q. And then Q said, follow Bolton, clean stage. So once Bolton was out, the stage was clean, and Q instructed us to archive offline. And now following Bolton's departure from the White House was clean. And then what happened following impeachment? Well, he was right, because Nadler, Pelosi, Schiff are all enduring a lot of ridicule, public ridicule. And you can see it. If you haven't seen it, then you're not looking in the right places, because you'll never see it on mainstream media. Do you think that they're going to show you one of theirs being publicly embarrassed? Of course not. But you could find it on Twitter when they don't take it down, and Facebook when they don't take it down, and YouTube when they don't take it down. So they are, trust me, I've seen it, they're being ridiculed. I wouldn't want to be them, really, for all the money in the world. I don't care how much money Nancy Pelosi has. I would rather be a pauper and lay my head on the pillow and be able to sleep well than have her issues, really. All right, now let's look at drop 3854. 3854. QAnon is an important back channel and the greatest military intelligence operation in history. Now, we've heard that before, and when I first heard it, I thought, yeah, right, because that was way back, and like just when Q was starting, and I remember thinking, well, we'll see. But as time went on, it's evident that Q is for real. Now, what the end game is at the end of all of this, well, I know everybody thinks, well, our country will be wonderful and we'll all live happily ever after. Well, I don't actually believe that, because, I am a believer in Jesus Christ. I believe the Bible, and I believe it's the Word of God. And I do believe that, there will be a new world order, whether we want it or not. But I do believe that Trump has bought us very valuable time. So when that will be, I don't know. But I do pray that Trump will be successful in returning us to an earlier era where there wasn't all this corruption. Anyway, let's look at this. The greatest military intelligence of all times. And underneath, Q says, back channels are important. What are back channels? Well, this is a back channel. Q talking or communicating with us through the 8kun. That's a back channel. This is a back channel because you're sure not going to hear it on the news. You're going to hear it from people like myself that are disseminating this information. If you're not hearing it directly from the boards yourself, then you're hearing it from alternative news sources. We're back channels. They are important because we wouldn't be winning this. If we didn't have Q telling us all this background information, we wouldn't have a clue what was going on right now. We really wouldn't. So, it's extremely important. And this war could not have been won without those back channels. Attacks will only intensify. You attack those who threaten you the most. Absolutely. Enjoy the show. Q. Now, that brings us up to date for today anyway. Now, I guess it's conceivable that Q may have still been posting while we were talking. So let's go take a look at that so that I can tell you with definitively whether or not we are caught up. So let's go here. And it looks like we are. So we are all caught up to today, the Q post, and that's going to be it for this video, but I'm going to be coming back. Well, look at who's back there. Yes, look at this. Now, doesn't that look nice? I'd rather have it attached to her, though. Him, rather. I had two girl cats that were 21 years old that died very closely together because they were almost 22. Well, actually, I think they were 22. But anyway, and they were both girls. So for 22 years, I've had two girl cats, and I'm used to calling them my girls and everything. And now I've got two boy cats. So I have to catch myself and hope that, I'm not feminizing them too much. Anyway, all right. Well, I guess I took care of that when I snip, 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 snip. Yeah, they weren't happy with me after that. Yeah. Somebody asked me, do you think they know? And I said, of course they know. Of course. It's like, they licking, and then one day they go to lick and it's not there. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm coming back, and I am going to be doing an update on the coronavirus. So let me get this uploaded, and I will work on the second video. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I have wonderful, wonderful listeners. I really do. And I'm not just saying that. Really, every day you guys surprise me. Just your comments and your little quips and your thing, you're talking back and forth to one another. And I think we've got a group of wonderful people here. I really do. So thank you. And I hope I'll see you real soon. I hope that you'll stick around for the second one. And a third if there is one, but, well, we'll see. Okay. Good night, guys. Check back now. Good night.